Hello and welcome to one of my favorite traditions here on the In the Money Media Network. It's our Triple Crown Draft, Kentucky Derby Draft. Sometimes we call it in shorthand, but it's really a Triple Crown Draft because what happens here is our panel will draft a team of horses. Each one of us gets 5 horses, and they will accrue points throughout the Triple Crown series. This is brought to you by our friends at Free Rein Coffee. You'll be hearing a little bit more about them later in the video. You can see the rules up there on the screen as to who gets points for what. Michelle Yu is our defending champion, getting ready for her to talk all manner of trash to us. But right now, she has a little friend to deal with while I introduce the rest of the team. We'll start off with my favorite competitor in the contest. That, of course, is me, PTF, host of the In the Money Players Pod. You can check out the tail of the tape up there on the screen. New to the draft this year, a key member of the In the Money media team. You also know her from her work at America's Day at the Races and her In the Ring podcast over here. She is Acacia Clement. Acacia, what's going on?
Not too much. I learned what a snake draft was through this process, so it's been fun so far.
And she's ready for fantasy football, guys.
I'm ready.
Last but certainly not least, a man who has won this event in style. I should mention, I'm a 2 and a third time champion, but a man who won this event in style a few years ago with his Kinchen Slam, having the winners of the 3 Triple Crown races and the Illinois Derby, I believe it was. He will try to get back into the winner's circle. He is Jonathon Kinchen. What's up, JK?
It was the Iowa Derby, Pete, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling great about this year. We'll see what happens. Depends on where I pick.
All right. Well, we did off camera. We did the draft order. You can see that up there on the screen. I begin, then Michelle, then Acacia. JK, you're on the turn, but because, as Acacia pointed out, it's a snake draft, that means you get 2 picks there. We're going to dive right in. I'm not going to make much drama about this. My pick is Fierceness. I believe this horse has shown the most brilliance of any runner in the crop. I understand the good race, bad race pattern that we've seen. I'm thinking that might be a coincidence as much as anything else. Running through the lane here in the Florida Derby, notching a 110 Beyer speed figure. I didn't have to think too hard about the first pick in this year's Derby/Triple Crown draft. And that brings us to Michelle Yu's first pick.
I don't think that it's a bad race, good race for him, by the way. I just want to throw some shade on your pick. I think that if someone looks at him in the face, he has no heart at all. He's like, oh, you want to win? You go right ahead. He does not care to beat anybody if they're going to look at him.
We will see. He's young. He's improved. We'll see. Anyway, get on with your pick. You're the one with the heart out. We got to get going here.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to go Sierra Leone. Duh. I mean, he had an impressive bluegrass, and I get that everyone's saying, like, oh, he bucked this big trend, but I've seen enough from Matt DeSantis to figure out that might not be the case. He was still an impressive winner. He came from way out of it. And I don't know, to me, he doesn't even look like he's trying. He's got this, like, lazy galloping stride. So I don't necessarily think that dead last is exactly where you want to be to try to win the Derby, but I think he's shown a lot of talent. So I'm going to go Sierra Leone first pick.
I get it. I do think that was an impressive run the other day. We're seeing it on screen there from the Bluegrass Stakes. Got a strong 98 Beyer speed figure. We'll see how it plays against this full field, but you make a good point about the running style. Certainly suggests that 10 furlongs not going to be any problem. Acacia, you're up for round 1.
Yeah, in Sierra Leone, it was bad loading into the gate last time too in the Bluegrass, but you guys took the 2 big ones. So I decided to go with the Japanese Invader, Forever Young. Saw him win the UAE Derby. Physically, he's not the most imposing horse, but he has just this demeanor. All of the Japanese horses in Dubai would go out at 5 a.m. A lot of them would get really hot, really kind of revved up, really energetic. This horse is just pure class in his mentality, you can tell. And obviously, we have not seen the Japanese Invaders take the Kentucky Derby just yet, but I think this may be their best chance, and this is what they've been pointing to with this horse. Obviously, distance going to be a bit of a question, but on pedigree, it shouldn't be a problem, and I'm hoping he can at least hit the board.
Thought it was a great sign, Acacia, that you picked Forever Young, having been over there at the UAE Derby, having seen him in person. Doesn't sound like his physical presence is a huge part of your rationale, but you're obviously not unimpressed with him to put him there in that spot. JK, we go to you for a double tap. The last pick in round 1 and the first pick in round 2.
I've said it before, and I'm going to say it for the next 4 weeks. I only think 3 horses can win this race: Fierceness, Sierra Leone, and my pick, Just a Touch. I thought he ran well. He's a lightly raced horse who could continue to improve, and I love his style, right? I like horses. Michelle touched on it with Sierra Leone. I like horses who are going to be a little bit more forward in the Derby, not to come from out of it as much. But I had to pick the best horse available, so I also took Catching Freedom, who does have that style. And he's a horse that I won't be betting at all on the day. So if he wins the Derby, it'll just kind of be my consolation that I have him in this draft.
It's just points JK's going to walk around with the points for.
Yeah. I'm going to show everybody my phone. Look, I got this in this YouTube draft that I did with Michelle and Acacia and Pete. So I'm happy. Who's buying dinner? So those are going to be my two. I'll take Just a Touch and Catching Freedom.
All right, Acacia, that means the nature of the snake draft. We go right back up to you. You're looking at one maybe to get points in a race other than the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot in the news about who could potentially still be able to get into the Kentucky Derby nowadays, but this is for all the Triple Crown races, and pointing to the Preakness is Arkansas Derby winner Muth. I remember seeing him last year.
You stole my pick.
I know. Now I like the snake draft because Michelle. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you my husband's name. Michelle wanted Muth, but this is a horse. He worked 9 and 3 as a 2-year-old, which is just incredible. And then he's gone out and he's done it on the racetrack as well. He was impressive in the Arkansas Derby, and we'll see if he can get the Preakness.
Michelle, you're up. Are we going to accuse you with being a homer with this next pick?
I don't know. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to pout for a few minutes while I lick my wounds that Acacia stole my horse that's going to win the Preakness. I'm going to go Stronghold next for Phil D'Amato. I really liked him going into the Sunland Derby. I thought that was a great return spot for him. He looked really gutty winning the Santa Anita Derby over, Baffert's third tier horse. But I don't think he's a horse is not going to run away and blow anyone away, but he might outgame someone if it comes down to it. He's got that running style that we want for the Derby. This is going to be a huge thing for D'Amato to get to take a horse to the Derby like this. And he's got a great pedigree. He's by Ghost Sapper, and he's a little homebred for a great family. So it's the feel-good story that I'm going to take this round. Stronghold.
We like those feel-good stories. I've got one that won't surprise people who've been watching these videos, another from the closer brigade to close out round 2, and that is Honor Marie. This horse that was notably short of fitness before the first race of the season, ran okay, all things considered, stepped it up on his second appearance, and maybe, just maybe, set for a peak effort in the third start off the layoff. That concludes round 2, so this is a good time to tell you a little bit more about our friends at Free Rein Coffee. FreeReinCoffee.com is the website. You can go and check out their product. It's been what I've been drinking to get up and get after it through this busy Triple Crown prep season. Whether you're looking for beans or pods or grounds, Free Rein Coffee Company have you covered. And right now, we've got a 20% discount. If you use our promo code MONEY20, go to FreeReinCoffeeCompany.com and check out all they have to offer. Some cool merchandise too, including this nifty hat. You can click the link right in the video if you want to learn more about Free Rein Coffee. Thanks also to our friends over at Twin Spires. They've got this daily double down promo going on right now for the Keeneland meet. Opt in and hit 2 daily doubles to receive a 25% boost on all winning daily double wagers at Keeneland every Wednesday through Friday in April. We start off round 3. We'll definitely get through 3 rounds before we go to the speed round route, and maybe even 4. And I'm going to pick Resilience. This is a horse that I feel like I maybe underrated the last day in the Wood Memorial. Not a horse that I gave a ton of consideration to before the race, but I like the way this horse ran through the lane. I like the hands he's in. He's got to get faster. A lot of these you can say that about. They got to get faster if they're going to go hang with the likes of the top 2. But I think Resilience is on the type of pattern where he might be able to do just that. Michelle, what do you want for your pick in round 3?
Well, I wanted Resilience. So again,
you got snarfed again.
I am wounded right now. I'm going to go with Just Steel, who I don't really love by any means, but there's always that flyer horse that picks up some points in there. And without Dallas Stewart around right now, why not Dwayne Lucas? He's picked up some points along the way. He's finished really nicely. He's handled a multitude of surfaces. We know the coach is going to have him ready because he's run 78 races so far just as a 3-year-old alone. So Just Steel from me because he might run in all 3 Triple Crown races.
That was the point I was going to make, Michelle, if you didn't make it. If there's one horse that's going to run in all 3, he would be the favorite to do that if there was such a market. Acacia, I was a little surprised by, we did the draft obviously beforehand, and we're recreating it here. So I keep making these comments that I know what's happening, and I'm not that prescient or Omniscient. But I was a little surprised, Acacia, by your top pick, only because I thought the one you went with here was so potentially ready for a turn back in distance. But you think those Triple Crown dreams may persist?
Not really. I'm hoping this is a Chad Brown, let's wait, let's try to run him in the Preakness, and maybe he uses his speed and holds on for a share. Going with Top Connor, who I thought was really impressive in his maiden win. He went right to the Wolves in the Bluegrass. I think Just a Touch ran significantly better as far as the speed horses in there, but with just his second start, originally Chad had told me that the plan had been the Wood for him, and instead they go to the Bluegrass, which I thought was just a much tougher race as well. And like I said, hoping he can hold on for a share with the speed.
Great, interesting information there, knowing another horse in the barn who might have benefited from that quick setup, potentially, the Top Connor offered. JK, let's close out round 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Domestic Product. I just feel like I don't think he's much of a horse, in terms of like winning the Derby. But I think he's a horse that'll show up probably in the Belmont. It'll be a home game for him. Probably try to pick up some points there. And then I'm going to use Encino, who's running in the Lexington this weekend. Anyone who shows up in the Lexington to try to get points to get into the Derby, they want to dance the dances. So I think that they'll also show up for races like the Preakness or the Belmont if they don't get into the Derby. So I thought Encino was at least a little bit interesting.
Acacia, back to you for another selection.
I've got Door Knock. I don't really love him, but it was kind of he's one that's left that has run some good races. He beat Sierra Leone in New York. He was with the track that day, as we've discussed. Once again, he took forever to switch his leads in the Bluegrass last time, but maybe he's a later developing type, and he's got the pedigree and the physical for distance. So we'll see if he keeps improving a bit.
Michelle, you're up.
That's 2 horses on Acacia's team that don't change leads. I'm keeping note. Acacia's like, who needs the right lead? Just give me the left the whole time.
Usually something that drives me crazy.
I'm going to go with a horse I don't like at all. In fact, I completely poo-pooed last time you ran, but again, we're kind of looking for some horses. I went with Mystic Dan for my next horse. That's it.
I love it. I'm going to round this out with a horse that may not compete in any Triple Crown race, but I'm hoping he gets well soon, maybe runs Peter Pan Belmont. He's shown a lot of brilliance.
I'm sorry, are the Peter Pan of the Belmont on are we getting points for those?
Well, the Belmont, yes.
I'm sorry, the Peter Pan, though? The Peter Pan?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm hoping he's going to probably need a race before he gets back. I'm speaking of Nisos, of course. He's shown an uncommon amount of brilliance. We are out of time, guys, so what we're going to do is speed round through our 5th pick. I'm going to start off with Epic Ride, who I thought ran a really good race in the Bluegrass, close to that fast pace, and looks like a horse to me that could hit the board in one of the 3. Really quick, Michelle, for your last one.
Vlahos. You guys have never heard of him before. All he's done is break his maiden, but I saw Doug O'Neill buy a horse from Louis Mendez last year and win the Grade 1 Cotillion. This is my type of horse. I'm hoping for a complete shocker later on in the Triple Crown year.
Acacia, your last one to round things out.
I needed a 5th pick, so I'm going to stay a homer and stay with Deterministic. If he didn't have his
Miguel's been standing there waiting for you to pick this horse. Huh?
He's not home yet. If he didn't have his last race, he would probably be one of the favorites going into the Derby, so maybe he can get back on track. I don't think he'll make the Derby, but maybe some of the other races.
JK, finish us off.
I'm going to just take Hades, just that idea that hoping he'll dance the dances. When you start showing up in the Lexington trying to get points, you're probably going to run in the Preakness if you don't get those points. So I'll take Hades.
That makes sense to me. You can see on screen there what the 4 teams are. Comment contest. Who has the best team? Or give us your own team out of horses we didn't pick. I think the safest comment contest, though, is who's going to win this Derby draft, Triple Crown draft challenge. Put it there. We'll feature you on a later video. We would also appreciate if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel and click that notification bell so you'd never miss an episode. Thank you so much to Acacia, to JK, to Michelle. This show's been a production of In the Money Media, brought to you by our friends at freereigncoffee.com. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatale. May you win all your photos.